Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Ear Training Podcast with Mariya. I'm so happy to hear that you guys are enjoying this podcast, so I went ahead and picked up a mini keyboard so I can play along and play some cadences, playbacks, and not just be like poking around on my iPad. I also did a mini unboxing of this video, and I'll link that in the description box if you want to go watch it. Anyways, we are going to be jumping around a little bit with different elements of ear training before we settle into what we actually want to do, so I'm definitely taking requests at this time. If you want me to cover something that I haven't covered, or if you're needing some extra practice on something, please let me know in the comments. And as per viewer request, we will be following bits and pieces of the RCM Level 4 requirements for ear training, along with some of the things they don't cover in that level. And I'm actually really excited for this episode because we had to cut out cadences from the previous episode because I couldn't play more than like 3 notes on an iPad, and it was like really hard to get them to sound right. So I'm really excited for this episode. Give it a like if you're excited too. Let's get into it. So the layout for today's episode is going to be warming up with some pitch relationship identification, then some intervals. We're going to be singing some scales, which are super helpful to for your intervals. Then we're going to move on to some triads, 7th chords, identifying scales, clapbacks, playbacks, singbacks, cadences, which I'm so excited about, and dictation. So let's start out with some pitches. So I'm going to give you a starting pitch and then play you a second pitch, and you need to tell me if the second pitch is lower or higher than the starting pitch. This is your starting pitch. Is it lower or higher? And I think I'll blur it out so you guys can't cheat and look at the keyboard. So again, this is your starting pitch. And this is your second pitch. Was that lower or higher than the starting pitch? I'll give you a second to think about it. And that was higher than the starting pitch. I was playing an F and a B flat. Here's another one. There's your starting pitch. So was that note higher or lower than the starting pitch? Here's the starting pitch again. Was it lower or higher? Take a few seconds to think about it. And that was lower. I was playing an middle C and E flat. Let's do 2 more. Here's another starting pitch. And is this next pitch going to be higher or lower? I find that the closer together they are, the harder it is. So let's do it one more time. Starting pitch. And is this next pitch higher or lower? Give you a second to think about it. And that was lower. I was playing G and F sharp. Okay, and I'll give you another one. This is your starting pitch. And tell me if this next one is higher or lower. One more time. This is your starting pitch. And tell me if this is higher or lower. Give you a second to think about it. Ready, and that was higher. I was playing an A and a B. Alright, so let's move on to some intervals. So we did minor seconds and major seconds last time. Let's do that one more time. So this is a minor second. It doesn't sound too nice. It's the smallest interval you can play on a piano. And this is a major second, and if you're into songs, this is perfect for a happy birthday to you. So if you can't sing happy birthday and it sounds this gross, it's a minor second. And if you can sing happy birthday, then it's a major second. So let me play you a few of each and you can identify them. One more time. that a minor second or a major second? Take a second. And that was a major second. Let's do another one. Is that a minor second or a major second? Take some time to think about it. And that was a minor second. Let's do another one. And by the way, for all of these episodes, until you guys feel like you're ready, I think we'll be playing the intervals above the given note, meaning you have a starting note and it's always going up. Later on, we can also practice below a given note, which would sound like this. So the same interval I just played above a given note or below a given note. But let's focus on what's at hand here. Is this a minor second or a major second? And this is a major second. All right, last one. Was that a minor second or a major second? Take a second. And that was a minor second. All right, let's add a few more intervals into the mix. Since I did want to cover some of the level 4 ear training, this might be a little bit of a leap from just doing minor and major seconds, because for the level 4 you need a minor third, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and perfect octave. So we can briefly cover those, maybe 2 or 3 of each. So for the minor third, this is what it sounds like. And there's really 2 ways, to identify this. You can sing a minor scale and kind of count 1, 2, 3, and then hearing that it sounds minor as opposed to major. 1, 2, 3. You can know that it's a minor third or a major third. Of course, you can use songs as well, and for all my fellow Canadians out there, Oh Canada starts with a minor third. So that has always worked very well for my students. But as far as what's worked for me, I would just sing 1, 2, 3, and just kind of count how many scale degrees I had to go through to reach the note that I'm hearing. So this is a minor third. And the reason I'm giving you that tactic is because I don't have a good song for a major third. I kind of always tell my students that it might sound like a doorbell if you play it from top to bottom, right? But sometimes it's tricky to invert that when you're trying to listen for a major third. So I would recommend just singing 1, 2, 3. Same way you could do 1, 2 for a major second, or 1, 2. So let's add minor and major thirds to the mix. So I'm going to be playing minor seconds, major seconds, minor thirds, and major thirds. Let's get into it. So make sure to sing your scale. Take some time to think about it. And that was a major third. Let's go on. Take some time. So that was a minor third. One more time. So kind of shuffle through all your songs, or you can also sing the scale. Ready? And that's a major second. Take some time. And that's a minor second. Take some time to think about it. So that's a major second. Take some time to think about it. So that was a minor third. Or 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What is that? Oops. This piano has a mind of its own. Okay, take some time to think about it. And that is a major third. Alright, I can just briefly go over how you can practice perfect fourths, perfect fifths, and perfect octaves. There are songs for each one of these, thankfully, but if you want to skip over to the part where we sing scales, I'll have the timestamp in the description box, also in the chapters, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so a perfect fourth sounds like this. And so there are two ways to identify this. Again, you can sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Same way you did 1, 2, 3. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do the same thing for a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I just found that if I'm nervous, I do tend to kind of warp the pitch a little bit. So this isn't the best way to identify like bigger intervals, because you might be a little sharper, be a little flat, and count too many or too little steps in between. Definitely works for the third. 1, 2, 3. It's hard to kind of get confused there or let your pitch warp too much, because there are only 3 steps. So for a perfect fourth, I usually imagine the wheels on the bus go round and round. That is not I'm not going to tell you what song I actually was taught to imagine for the perfect fourth. If you guys are watching this right now and you want to know, or you want to take a wild guess, knowing my background, let me know in the comments. So for the perfect fourth, you can also imagine Here Comes the Bride. That tends to work. It depends on which song you're most familiar with. It wouldn't make sense to pick a song that you're not familiar with, because you really need to lean on that knowledge that you already have to feel confident with these next intervals. So if you're forcing yourself to learn 2 new things, the interval and the song, it's really not going to be that much help. So take all these songs with a grain of salt, and please swap them in if you need with songs that you're most familiar with. For the perfect fifth, the Star Wars theme is good. That's a fun one. You can also do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Okay, so that's a perfect fifth. And of course, you can also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sing all the way up to a perfect fifth. And last but not least, the perfect octave. So in an octave, I'm sure you guys already know this, but the pitch at the bottom is just played up an octave, so it repeats. So these are both C's. C, C. And again, you can kind of hear it, and I know that's like terrible advice coming from a musician who's already done all her ear training, but if you want to use a song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow is great. If you just take a second to try to sing both of these pitches, na, na, you can hear that they match. They're the same pitch, but just an octave higher. And again, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're able to sing the entire scale, you can sing it all the way up one octave again, and if you land on that top note, then you know it's an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so from smallest to largest, we have a minor second, major second, minor third, major third. So far we're growing all in order. Perfect fourth. Now we skip an interval, a mystery interval that we'll get to later. Perfect fifth. Now we skip 4 intervals. Don't worry about them for now. And we get to the perfect octave. So let's go through all of those, and we'll move on to singing some scales. Ready? And that was a major second. One more time. So take some time to think about it. Ready? So that was a major third. Ready? So that was a perfect fourth. One more time. Take some time to think about it. So that was a perfect octave. Take some time to think about it. That was a minor second. One more time. Ready? And that was a perfect fifth. One more time. So sing the scale if you need to. Ready? And that was a major third. And last but not least, one more time. Ready? And that was a minor third. Alright, let's quickly cover singing scales. So this is a smooth transition to the interval, since that was the tactic that we used for a lot of them to identify them. So basically I'm going to give you a pitch and you're going to sing a major scale from that pitch. I'm going to give you an example. So this is middle C. And you don't have to have perfect pitch. I forgot to give that disclaimer. You do not have to have perfect pitch to do any of these exercises. What we're training is relative pitch, not perfect pitch. I don't have perfect pitch, and so many of my colleagues also do not have perfect pitch, so it's not a deal breaker at all. But of course, if you have perfect pitch, be sure to flex your abilities in the comments and let me know if you have perfect pitch, as if you guys don't do that already. Alright, so back to what we were doing. This is the starting pitch, and what I want you to do is la 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 la. So you can also put numbers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can also do solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Let's take another one. This is your starting pitch. So take some time to slowly sing the scale. Feel free to pause the video if you feel like I'm going a little too fast. So if you're ready, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the reason that putting numbers on it can be so helpful is tying it back to the intervals. Now if I give you a major third from this note, 1, 2, 3, you know that you just sang part of that major scale. And I'll put a note that next time we'll do singing minor scales. Let's do a few more. So take some time and sing the major scale. Let's do solfege for this one. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, and maybe one last one. So notice in ear training, it really doesn't matter if you just sing down the octave. I wouldn't feel comfortable going, maybe you guys can go that high, but it's totally fine to not sing. I'm playing an A, by the way. To not sing this A, but sing A, not A, but A. It really makes no difference at all in your ear training. So feel free to sing the pitch up an octave if it's a little too low for you, or down an octave if it's a little too high for you. So this is your starting pitch, or this is your starting pitch. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you finish a little bit flat or sharp, don't worry, that's why I'm playing this first note so many times, so you guys know where you're headed. It took a lot of practice. I would always constantly slide down or slide up over the course of the scale, and especially when you're sight singing, it's easy to kind of slide around in your pitch. So really checking back with yourself and seeing if you're still in the realm of whichever scale you were supposed to play is really useful. So if you're wondering why I keep playing this note, it's to anchor you and make sure you still are finishing in tune. Alright, let's move on to some major and minor chords. So we did do this last time. We're going to add a little extra level of complexity here, nothing too crazy. Again, in the spirit of the RCM Level 4 requirements. In the last episode, I would just play you a major and minor triad. That's a minor triad, by the way. It sounds sad, and it starts with a minor third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As opposed to a major triad, which starts with a major third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's brighter for the major and minor. So the way I would play it is broken and then solid, and same thing for the major. So let's warm up with a few of those before we take it to the next level. So take some time. Does it start with a major third or a minor third? Does it sound happy or sad? Ready? And that was a major triad. One more time. Does it sound happy or sad? Whoop, I'm so sorry. Does it sound happy or sad? Is it built using a minor third at the beginning or a major third? Try to complete it using the scale. Ready? And that was a minor triad. Okay, maybe one more. So does it start with a major third or a minor third? Can you complete the scale? Take some time. Ready? And drum roll please. That was a major triad. So careful when the pitches go lower and higher. I've had lots of students automatically think that a higher pitch triad is major, even though this one that I'm playing right now is minor. So don't confuse the higher pitches and the lower pitches with major and minor. So a major can be lower down. This is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the minor. And same thing with a minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a minor, even though it's higher in pitch, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the major. So for the exam, they actually also ask you to identify the root, third, or fifth of the chord that is played, and this is where singing the scales with the numbers really helps. So if I give you just a random triad, you're gonna sing the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 1 is the root of the chord, the first, the starting note. The third is the third scale degree or scale step. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And the fifth is the fifth scale step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have the 1, 3, 5. Or the way they name it, root, third, and fifth. I've had students confuse the third of the chord with the third note in the chord. So just knowing that this is the root, the first note in the chord is the root. The second note in the chord is the third, because it's the third scale step. 1, 2, 3, but it's the second note in the chord. And the third note in the chord is the fifth scale degree. So it's the fifth of the chord. So root, third, fifth. I hope that made sense. So again, singing the chord back to yourself. For example, let's take another one. Root, third, fifth, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I play you, for example, that note, you should be able to tell me if it's the root, the third, or the fifth. So let's practice identifying the root, third, and fifth of a chord. Now I'm going to play a note, and you tell me if that was the root, third, or fifth of that chord. So sing the chord with me. 1, 3, 5. And I'm going to play you. Was that the 1, the 3, or the 5? Take your time. And that was the third, the 3. Okay, another one. Let's sing the chord together. 1, 3, 5. Was that the root, third, or the fifth? The 1, 3, or the 5? Now it's playing. So that is the fifth of the chord, and last but not least, so let's sing the notes of the chord together. 1, 3, 5. I'm gonna play you. Oops. One more time. And I'm playing you this. So that the 1, 3, or the 5. Take some time. And that was the third. All right. Moving on, so we're just gonna briefly do some 7th chords, and just like last time, we have dominant 7 that kind of wants to go back to the 1, so it's not very stable. It can't just exist on its own. It always wants to resolve, okay? Let's take another one. It wants to resolve, and this one wants to resolve, and this one, oh, sorry, and this one wants to resolve, and another one wants to resolve, And the second 7th chord that we have is the diminished 7th. It's pretty tense, it's pretty intense, and I guess you could say when you lose in a video game or something bad happens, it kind of goes doo, 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 doo. So if you do the same thing with a dominant 7th chord, it doesn't have the same effect, right? It doesn't sound as tense as so we have the tense one, diminished 7th, and the dominant 7th. Okay, so I'm gonna play you, I don't know, 4 or 5 chords, and you're gonna tell me which one is which. Ready? Take some time. Ready? So does it want to resolve, or is it a really tense chord? The chord of doom. Ready? So that was a dominant 7th. 4 more to go. So does it want to resolve to a 1, or does it just sound very intense? Take some time. Ready? And that was another dominant 7th. I tricked you. If you thought I was going to play a diminished 7th, you just got played. Okay, next. What is that? Is it a dominant 7th or a diminished 7th? Take some time. And that was a diminished 7th. 2 more to go. Does it sound like that one wants to resolve to a 1? Or does it just sound very, very intense? Take some time. Ready? And that is a dominant 7th chord. Next. Take some time to think about it. Is it a dominant 7th or a diminished 7th? Ready? And that is a diminished 7th. Okay, and last but not least, is that a diminished 7th or dominant 7th? Ready? And that was a diminished 7th. So let's do a little bit of scale identification. So we did major scales. We did natural minor scales. Now we're going to do harmonic minor scales. So major is just like a plain, happy. Minor is plain, sad, natural minor. Harmonic minor has the raised 7th, as opposed to just the normal minor. Harmonic. Oops. Okay, so let's not spend too much time on that. I'm just going to play a few scales. So which one is this, my friends? Natural minor, major, or harmonic minor? Take some time. And that was a natural minor. Next. natural harmonic or just a major. Take some time. And that was a harmonic minor. And was that a major, a natural minor, or a harmonic minor? And that is a major scale, a happy scale. Alright, so let's do some clapbacks. So for clapbacks, I'm going to identify the time signature for you as 4/4 or 3/4, and then I'm going to play a 2-bar rhythm. So either 4 groups of, what am I saying? 2 groups of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you can clap it back. Ready? So the first one is going to be in 4/4 time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, try it. I can play it a third time for you, but usually in exams they play it twice. Try to remember the claps and just do baby claps as I'm playing this. Okay, and you should have gotten. So the next one, let's do a 3/4 time clap back. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and. One more time. Third time with baby claps. Ready? Okay, and you should have gotten. Go ahead, clap it back. Are you ready? Yes, you should have gotten. And if you are preparing for an exam, just make sure that you know that it's okay if you don't get it exactly right. What matters most is your confidence. Believe it or not, you really have to be confident, and try to start out very strong with your rhythm. So if you have absolutely no idea what's going on, make sure you get that first bar or even the first few beats right, and just kind of wing it for the rest of it. Make sure you have a steady tempo, and make sure that you are confident with what you're clapping, because if you just clap some random stuff and there's no pulse that you can even hear in your own clapping, you can almost guarantee that you won't get a good mark. But if you do have a sense of rhythm already in your clapping, you have a steady beat, a steady pulse, you're gonna have more marks. You're gonna get a higher grade than if you just, even if you remember the rhythm perfectly, but your sense of rhythm and pulse is really wishy-washy. So you really want to be super steady with your rhythm and start out strong. Let's do one last one in 3/4 time. 1 and 2 and 3 and. One more time. Take some time. And let's do a third time with baby claps. Okay. You should have gotten. Okay, and again, steadiness is number 1, and number 2 is try to get the beginning, so at least 1, 2, 3, and if you mess up the ending, it's not as important as to have a strong start to your clapback. So let's move on to some playbacks now. We're going to be using the penta scale. Penta means 5, so the first 5 notes of a scale. And we're going to be doing C major and D major. So the important part about playbacks, and we're kind of going to group playbacks and singbacks together in one. So if you're in the car or if you're doing chores, feel free to sing this back. Make sure you use note names though, so you can easily translate your skills back onto your instrument. And we won't have time to cover all of the different keys for level 4. There are lots and lots of them, and we're doing extra stuff too. So, but at least there are some of the keys that are required. So for C major, if I tell you that we're in C major, I'm going to give you the triad. Again, you can sing C, E, G, and you can almost count on them starting the melody on one of those 3 notes. So again, the exercise is all tied together. Being able to identify the notes of the triad is going to help you figure out what note your melody is starting on. So when you play the triad and you go C, E, G, knowing that you're in C major, which they're going to tell you, and then you have a melody like this, you know that you started on an E, and then you kind of listen for, is there a skip? Is there a step? Are you going up? Are you going down? So for this melody, you started out on the E and you traveled upwards for 2 notes. So you know it's E, F, G, then you go down, and you know that you ended on 1, right? 1, C, and note before it was 1 step above. So that you know it's D, C, so E, F, G, D, C. Okay, let's do another one in D major maybe. So D, E, F sharp, G, A. So make sure that you don't play an F natural when you're in D major. So remember all of your key signatures for whichever key they give you. So D major. One more time. So try to sing it back. Imagine what note we started on in relation to the triad. Okay, and the melody one last time. I'm sorry. And the melody one last time. Okay. Try to sing it back with the note names. Okay, and you should have gotten A, G, F sharp, E, F sharp, D. Because we started on the 5th of the scale. We're going down stepwise for 4. Back up. And then this last one was a skip. It wasn't a step, it was a skip. And you ended on the 1 on the D. So let's do one last one in D major. So again, this is the triad. One more time. So what note did we start on? Is it the D, the F sharp, or the A? Try to sing it back with the note names. Alright, so you should have gotten D, F sharp, G, A, G, E, D. So we started on D, the first scale degree, then we had a skip. D, F sharp, then followed by 2 steps, up, up, which makes F sharp, G, A, back to G. Then we skipped down and finished on the D, so skip. And if you're not feeling too confident with these, don't worry, these are the hardest for a lot of people of the ear tests. So it just takes practice. If you have somebody in your household that can play some playbacks, ask them to do that. You can also record yourself playing random melodies and then play it back to yourself, a week later when you forgot what melodies you played, and kind of test yourself. Or listen to this podcast, and if you want more playbacks, we can always do more. Just let me know in the comments and I will deliver. Let's move on to cadences. So for today, we're going to have two types of cadences, and we didn't cover cadences last time. We're going to have a perfect cadence, which consists of a 1 chord, a dominant chord or a 5 chord, and back to the tonic or the 1 chord. Also, it can sound like this. And to those of us who are used to listening to Western music, this really sounds like an ending. A piece could end on 1-5-1. In fact, most pieces do, with the exception of those that don't exactly sound complete. So if it sounds complete, like you could totally end a piece with this, it's a perfect cadence. The other cadence that we're going to be doing is the 1-4-1 or the plagal cadence. So we're again starting with the tonic, then we're doing the 4 or subdominant back into the tonic. And you can see the difference. It doesn't sound as stable. And as opposed to very stable and finished, doesn't sound very stable. So the plagal cadence is 1-4-1, the perfect cadence is 1-5-1. So I'm going to play you a few of both, and you tell me which one is which. Take some time to think about it. So that was ready. A plagal cadence. Could a piece finish with that, or does it need a... Take some time. Ready. And that was a perfect cadence. Could a piece finish with that, or... Does it sound stable? That was, ready, a perfect cadence, 1-5-1. And last but not least, could a piece finish with that? Does it sound perfect or plagal? Do you have your answer? And that was a plagal cadence. Alright guys, and to wrap up, let's do a quick dictation in 4/4. It's going to be 1 bar long, and we're going to be using the pentascale of C major. So this is the triad, and I'm going to be using 3 notes from the pentascale. One more time. This one should be relatively straightforward. So it's actually outlining the notes of the triad. I'm not telling you in which order, but... Right. So pause this video if you're not ready, because I'm going to have the answer on the screen. Pause it to right. You should have C, G, E. Let's do another one in C major. Okay, one more time. What note of the triad is it starting on? Okay. Pause it if you're not ready. I'm going to have the answer on the screen. So you should have C, last one, let's change it up with F major. So if I'm using these notes, F major has a B flat, so make sure there are no B naturals in your dictation. Are you ready? One more time. Okay, so what note did it start on? And what's the patterning? Is it going up? Is it going down? Skip, big leap, small leap. Okay. So pause if you're not ready. I'm gonna give you the answer. You should have F, C, B flat. And congratulations, we have completed episode 2 of the Ear Training Podcast. If you guys want me to cover something that I haven't covered or go a little bit slower, a little bit faster, we're still figuring things out with this podcast. Is definitely a new format, so let me know in the comments. Give this video a like if you liked it. If you want to keep watching my videos, that would make me extremely happy, and not to mention give you a ton of value. You can do that right here, and I will see you guys next week. So have fun practicing. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you later. Bye.